At Talladega, you had to apologize to the competitors for some recent events during the drivers' meeting. Is that something that you wanted to do yourself? Was that what? How did that? I remember that happening, and I felt like watching your comments, it was a very genuine, a very genuine.
It was emotional.
Yeah, emotional sort of reaction that you had. Is that something that you took upon yourself to do, to sort of let the guys know, hey man, I'm not out here to create a lot of problems?
Well, a lot of the reason that I did it was Richard Petty and your dad both talked to me, and they said, hey, you're not gonna be able to continue this path. You need to figure out where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish, and realize that, you have to race against these guys, probably for the rest of your career. So you need to like straighten up, and so that brought a lot of thoughts to my mind. And so I just did it all on my own. I said, I went up to Dick Beatty. You remember him?
Oh yeah.
And he was the main guy. And I asked Dick, I said, hey, would you mind if I said a few words at the drivers' meeting? And Dick said, I mean, none of the really competitors ever step up and talk at the drivers' meeting. And so he said, I'll do some checking and figure it out. And this was still at Talladega, and drivers' meeting was going on, getting ready to go on. And Dick come up to me and he said, yeah, it'll be fine to, say a few words. And so then just a little while later in the drivers' meeting, Dick, I think it was, I can't remember. I think it was Mike Helton or somebody had said, Ernie wants to say a few words. And so I walked up, again, the cockiness was coming out of me. And I walked up and said, I've had some problems. I've roughed a few people up. I've been involved in some wrecks that I, didn't really need to be involved in. And, but I want to apologize. And I also, want to get your guys I want to have some trust around me, and I'm going to try to change. And I'm not exactly sure how it all worded, but I remember seeing Rusty Wallace's face, and it was one of them. It's like, yeah, right.
For sure.
Let's just see how this happens. And so we were at Talladega, and I started the race, and we finished all right. We didn't have no problems. Didn't have any wrecks or cause any wrecks. And so that was the lead to trying to do what your dad had said, and then Richard Petty.
Yeah.
That it's like trying to earn the trust of everybody in the garage area. And from that moment on, I don't know if I really changed my driving style, but I really didn't get involved in a whole lot of wrecks after that. But I was still involved in wrecks because that's just natural. And so it ended up that, it seemed like I started earning their respect. And, obviously when I started driving the 28 car with Robert Yates, I think that escalated the confidence in people knowing how I could drive.
I'm curious about something. I mean, I'm assuming, Ernie, that you agreed with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt with what they were telling you, right? But surely the irony wasn't lost, at least in your mind, that, one of the notorious aggressive drivers of all time is telling you that you need to calm down to be, to make it in the sport. And I remember this so vividly of you standing up and thinking, well, I mean, I know he's aggressive, but he's not so aggressive that he's got to stand up and apologize and tell and get the confidence of the entire series. And I was blown away by that. So I guess my question is that did the irony ever occur to anybody that, that that it's Dale Earnhardt delivering this message, and therefore it must mean I am super aggressive. So much so that if he's telling me this, then it must be bad. And did you agree with that?
Well, I mean, I agreed with that because of Dale Sr. and Richard Petty both telling me this. And when those guys speak, I mean, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Just because of their reputation and, you know, their status in the sport. I mean, I felt like, you know, this is something I need to do. And so that's the reason that I said, you know, I need to stand up and, you know, tell people that I'm sorry, and try to do better.
And I'll tell you too that Richard Petty had the same conversation that you had with them with Dad.
Right, that's true. He said that.
Yeah. So you know, 1980, Dad dives 3 wide on the very first start of the race at Martinsville. 1980, those big old cars with no brakes. Martinsville, Dad goes 3 wide underneath Richard into turn 1, the very, very beginning of the race, of a 500-miler at Martinsville, and causes about a 15-car crash in the middle of 1 and 2. And Richard poked Dad in the chest after that race and said, "Hey, you got to figure this out." Had the same conversation. So I think Dad probably was seeing a little bit of himself. Yeah. Possibly.
I don't remember him getting up in the driver's meeting, though.
Hell, he just straightened it out.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, you know, that you said that you didn't think you changed your style much, but you did clean it up. You did avoid being the sort of focus of a lot of the crashes that were happening around that time. And that was, I think, you know, your style was so unique. It could be compared to Dad. It could be compared to a few other people, Gary Ballou maybe. But it was, you know, there weren't a lot of guys like y'all. You to me fit in that mold of Gary Ballou, Dale Earnhardt. It's kind of, you know, do whatever it takes. You go out there, win the race, no matter what. You gotta lean on a guy or whatever you have to do, and the cockiness and all that, the belief in yourself. I think you carried that with you. You might have cleaned up, you know, a little bit of the recklessness maybe.